What is going on, you guys? We got an article today about actions for X-Wing 2.0. If you have been following along, there's not a whole lot of new information, but there are a few things. But if you are not that up to speed, they're kind of bringing everybody up to speed on all the new mechanics for X-Wing 2.0. And this kind of really goes into why this is kind of like a whole new game that is still very, very true. It's like new and old at the same time. It's new in that they've done so much retooling to it. It's going to feel to a lot of people like a whole new game. But at the same time, it's old because it's taking everything, pretty much back to the basics of X-Wing about flying, lining up your shot and taking it. That being said, this article is talking a lot about actions in here. Now, this isn't the exact Luke Skywalker card. The actions here are like raised in red. So if you see that red around the side, they're kind of like, they're highlighting the actions on the Luke Skywalker card. So one of the things you're going to notice here is that, X-Wings now have barrel roll, and that's cool. And in addition to focus and target lock, which is on here. But the important thing is that these are white actions. They have added red actions, which you can see here on the Y-Wing. There are red actions, and red actions are normal actions, but they're going to give you a stress. So, if you're a veteran X-Wing player, that's going to sound, it's pretty much straightforward. You do this action, you get a stress. If you have a stress, you can't perform a red maneuver, and you can't take any actions. There aren't actually free actions anymore, it's just actions. There are things that will give you what I'll call a free action, but they're just called actions. So something might say, this gives you an action, and you can just take an action. So all actions are actions. There's not different subcategories of actions. Actions, if they're red, are going to give you a stress after you take them. So and they kind of talk about some of the strategies, like, all right, you take a red action, now you're going to probably be stuck doing a green maneuver next turn, but that's fine. It's almost like you're doing a red maneuver with no action, but instead you're going to do a white or green maneuver and then take a red action. You still end up with a stress, regardless. But it's kind of nice because you do see Y-Wings barrel roll, and they've talked about this from time to time. Y-Wings also have the reload action, which is going to replenish your ordnance, and they talk about bombs and torpedoes here. There are missiles in this game too, but they don't mention missiles, and I think that has to do with that Y-Wings probably, we can't see for sure, but looks like Y-Wings can't take missiles. That is kind of one of the things that makes me wonder. Do you ever stop to think, what really is the difference between missiles and torpedoes? I know that they're just segmented for gameplay purposes, but really in space, would there even be any functional difference? Because when you think about it, a missile goes through the air, and a torpedo goes underwater. So, is there a difference between a missile and a torpedo in space? They're, that doesn't, would you, in reality, what would you call it, right? I think we would call it a torpedo. I think so. Because Star Trek had that, and they were all torpedoes, right? I don't even think you had missiles in Star Trek. Anyway, I'm getting but maybe these ships can do atmospheric flight, and perhaps torpedoes actually go under the water. If there were some type of water, maybe from Mon Cala. You can't fire missiles in Mon Cala, maybe, if you do some underwater battles. Let's talk about some extra stuff. So, some of the upgrades, like expert handling and engine upgrade, will have the prerequisite, like you'll see on this card, of you have to have a red barrel roll to equip expert handling. So, and this is an EPT. So, if you are going to, equip this as your EPT, then you're going to need to have a red barrel roll. And this is going to basically give you the white barrel roll option. And basically it looks like it's turning it white. Now, one thing I don't know is is this overwriting your red, or is it gaining you the white barrel roll token? Our action. The only reason I say this is if we get way down the line meta, maybe for some reason you have a Y-Wing that has something that benefits from stress, so you would prefer to take the red barrel roll on turn 4 just because of, something happens. Maybe there's a new pilot that comes out. If they have you in their firing arc at range 1, if you don't have a stress, they get 5 extra damage dice, so you want to make sure you can stress yourself out, so you take that red barrel roll instead. Again, I'm totally speculating, but the timing and the specifics of these things are kind of important. So that it would be my follow-up question is this just upgrading your from red to white, or is it giving you a second barrel roll that is white? And do you have the option to take them both? It does look like at this time that an action. So if you have, for example, if you had a red barrel roll and a white barrel roll, you couldn't take two barrel rolls. I don't think that's being counted as two separate actions. I don't think white barrel roll is an action. I think barrel roll, do a barrel roll is the action, and the color of it just says whether or not you get stress. So for purposes of like linking actions together, which is another thing that you can do. And we're going to talk about that here with old Terox. And this is another one that we got, very similar to his X-Wing 1.0 version, but he has barrel roll into focus and boost into focus, right? It's pretty cool stuff. Now, he doesn't have anything to get multiple actions or whatever, but if for some reason he had some kind of push the limit type, and push the limit's different now, but if he were given a bonus action and he had already taken a focus, I don't believe he could then boost into red focus, because he had already taken the focus action, so he couldn't take another action. And the way these work is, after you do, like if you want to do a chained action, after you do a barrel roll, you can then do a red focus in this case. Sometimes, in theory, they could be chained to a white, but I don't think there's a single example of anybody who has a chain into another white. Because I think in those cases that could potentially create infinite loops. So I don't think it's likely that we will see that. However, you're not going to be able to, chain, do a focus, and I don't think you're going to be able to boost into another focus, because it's two focuses. You're still taking that focus action. The cool thing is that it says you may. So if you barrel roll, you're not obligated to take the red focus. So you're not, you can boost without being stressed if you want to just boost and not take a focus. It does say that you may. And may is important there, because if you were stuck boosting and barrel rolling, that means you would guaranteed have a stress along with that focus. You might not want to do it. So that much is cool. Another thing I think that's kind of interesting about this card, and this kind of is just a little history lesson on this card, is that when this one has long been originally thought to be Darth Maul. So a lot of people used to call this guy Darth Maul, at least in my area. And the reason being, this card was partially spoiled right when Rebels Season 4's like early trailer, or maybe it was Season 3. Yes, Rebels Season 3's early trailer had come out, and you could see that it was like you could barely make out that it was Darth Maul, and he said, "Call me Old Master." And all we could see was old, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, it's Old Master, it's Darth Maul, it's Old Master." So old Tarok, like a lot of people thought, that this is like, this was, we used to call this guy Old Master or Darth Maul for slang. And it was going to be interesting to see if they gave him Force abilities in 2.0. So not, definitely officially not Darth Maul, since there's no or at least not Maul, since there is no Force ability here. But maybe we'll get him in some other format. Hey, if they do the Clone Wars expansions, then we can get him there. That would be awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. Let's go to the next card. All right, so we got some Astromechs here. So we got R5D8, and R5D8 is very similar, kind of similar to how he functions in 1.0, but he has changed. First off, he is rebel only. It seems like most Astromechs are going to be restricted by faction, but there are some that are not. And this one talks about the repair. So it looks like repair has two functions. Repair can either turn a face-up damage card face down, or if a face-down damage card, just remove it. So that's a nice. It's kind of streamlining that. So he gives you some actions as well, because this fits into actions. He's got 3 charges on him, so you can spend one of his charges to repair a face-down damage card, which is basically fixes a damage card. Or you don't have to spend a charge, and you can repair a face-up ship damage card. What that means is you'll be able to take that ship damage card, flip it face down. So if you get a crit and it's a ship card, over the course of 2 turns, you can potentially get rid of that card with this guy. You can flip one face down, and then next turn you can spend a charge to get rid of it. But again, like we've seen, you don't have the infinite stuff, so you're not going to be able to just infinitely repair with R5D8. So that's kind of how that one works. That's pretty interesting. And so he's got 2 separate actions on him. It's kind of cool. The R3 Astromech is an Astromech that is not bound by any factions. So even if they come up with, you know, Obi-Wan Kenobi in his, you know, Jedi Interceptor or whatever, and, you know, you could potentially, you know, give this to any faction. So at the moment, the Empire doesn't seem to have any ships that can take astromechs. It doesn't look like that's changing anytime soon, which is fine. But, you know, you do see them on, like, the Death Star and stuff. So maybe if they ever, you know, revamp Epic and they want to be able to give astromechs to, like, maybe some of the Empire's, you know, Epic ships, maybe. Don't see it happening, though. Don't see it happening. It's just scum and rebels right now. Well, and potentially, you know, your Resistance is going to have this, too. So 3 factions will be able to take this guy, at least. So that R3 Astromech says you can maintain up to 2 locks, and each lock must be on a different object. Again, target locks. No, they talked about this before, but target locks can be on different things. You can target lock friendly ships. You can target lock an asteroid. You can target lock different things. So that's kind of cool. And after you perform a target lock action, you may acquire a lock. So after you do 1 target lock, you can get a 2nd target lock. This is great for action economy. Like it. It's great stuff. Totally like this guy. Interesting thing here is Darth Vader. And this one is not from the article. This was from the live stream, but I did kind of want to talk about it because I think it factors in. Because we were talking about bonus actions, right? It does seem right now that, like, if Darth Vader wanted to get 3 actions, it seems like he could, because of the fact that you could barrel roll into, you know, and then spend a force point, and, well, more likely you would target lock, rather. You could target lock, spend a force point to take a focus, and then, you know, combo that, chain that into the red barrel roll. It seems like you could do that. It seems like that would work. So there is definitely that option. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see anything that would prevent you from doing that. So it looks like Darth Vader can get 3 actions a turn now, if you want him to get stressed. And you might not always need to barrel roll. But it's pretty cool. I think this new Darth Vader is going to be a monster. And especially since they said Pilot Skill 6 is going to be pretty rare. So that's about all I got for you guys today. We're jumping back to Luke's. It was the first slide. There is still another round of the giveaway going on right now. So if you'd like to enter to win a gift card, a $20 gift card to Cool Stuff for an expansion of your choice, all you have to do is become a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out Crabbok.com and hop in my Discord. Upload some of your best paint jobs. I'm going to be showcasing some people's paint if they would like to do that. So, you know, drop some paint jobs in my Discord. They have a little image uploader in there, and we're going to, you know, maybe you'll see yourself here. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.